Okay, you can tell them about the water incident if you want. Just don't put me on camera. I'll admit I did it.
I went to see Booby Murder Tower. And called Murder Tower because a bunch of murders are.
Crack?
Huh?
Crack towers too?
Yeah,
Okay.
same one,
All right.
same building.
I don't know. Okay. Anyway, here he is. He's sitting there in his underwear. I mean, there's a puddle of stuff on the floor. Probably urine or beer. But the floor.
Or a little beer urine.
But the floor is sticky.
Oh.
And there's a puddle there. And I think it's urine. And he says, "Oh, have a drink, have a beer." Okay, I have a glass of beer. The home care worker comes over. She doesn't bat an eye. She takes him into the bathroom, puts him in the bathtub, hoses him down, changes his clothes. Oh, jeez, Lord have mercy. I mean, the guy's sitting there, urine-soaked bed, got beer all over, and a sticky-ass floor.
We have an audience of seagulls. I don't know if you've noticed. But they're congregating. Sorry.
Jeez, Booby.
It's never happened before.
Geez, Booby maybe he might be embarrassed, but no, Booby wasn't, embarrassed him a bit, Sitting here in my underwear, and piss all around, rapidly drying,
So tell me another Mike story. What was Mike like when he was using and abusing?
When he was drinking,
Yeah.
well, he would talk incessantly, and he would recycle the same things over every 12 minutes. And they would keep going on and on forever, indefinitely,
Yeah.
until you yelled at him. And then he would get mad. Well, why can't I talk? Can I talk? No, you can't. No. You have to stop. Let somebody else talk.
Yeah.
And I didn't mind him talking. It's just that I don't need to hear the same thing over and over and over.
Yeah, I had a roommate like that. He always used to say, "I have a short-term memory," and it's like, okay, well, a short-term memory is like a noun, not a verb.
Yeah. Let's see.
I had a roommate. He was so crazy. He would go up to you and he'd touch you and he'd say, "I just gave you the powers of a 10th degree black belt," and then he'd touch you again and he said, "I took it away from you. You can handle it." and he thought he was serious.
Well, I mean, that's the world you live in, Leaf.
Yeah.
You know.
It can be fun at times. One of the good things is that nobody's noticed that, like, in the 3 years I've been living in this one house, I have yet to do even a stitch of housework.
Okay. Well, have you tried to interview your hallucinations?
I'll stop them for you.
No, that's okay. Interview my hallucinations.
It's a good thing I'm a hallucination.
Well, Leaf met this guy named Rayon Jones,
Oh.
who wrote a book, and in this book, he interviews his hallucinations.
That was quite a book.
You should come around more
It
often.
was crazy.
There's people having hallucinations in this building all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Look at Corey in the bathroom in the dark, bathing in the dark.
Oh.
She's different.
She lives in the dark. Tin fills her windows.
Yeah, that's probably to keep the aliens even in. Or
One time I was in Vancouver and I saw a guy, he had a tinfoil hat, and he was walking along and he looked like a schizophrenic, And I walked up and I saluted him just to see what would happen.
well, probably to keep Major League Baseball from, what was it?
Probably bowed in front of you like he was royalty.
Well, one of the best quotes I ever heard was I was working in this out of this temporary office in Vancouver, and there was this guy, and he had to have something wrong with him, and he's sitting there and he says, "Can I look at the paper?" And somebody handed him a newspaper, and he says, "Well, what do you need to look at?" And he says, "Well, all I read are the hockey scores and the UFO stories. Everything else is bullshit."
Can't be too far off the market.
No.
He's really off already.
So what have you been up to lately, Steve?
Sweating, worrying
Oh, boy.
myself to death.
Steve here is famous. He was on TV doing his tub inserts.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I saw that little video thing. Yeah.
You still doing that, or?
Yeah, once in a while.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Went to Calgary last month. I
Wow.
did 3 of them down there.
Yep.
And then I did 1, 2, 3, 4 and a half between the last week of last month and the first week.
Oh yeah. I went down to Calgary. I had a book signing at the. I was signing my books at the university there. It was pretty fun. It's a nice place, that university.
How'd you go down?
I rented a car. My dad helped me rent a car and got down there. And
You gotta forget that you're on camera.
I know. And I keep talking and I'm like, oh, I just got a camera. Shh.
I probably got.
Anyway, you know what? Over there at Pioneer Place, I had a friend who lived there,
Yeah.
and this is back in the '80s, and he was always he was a good guy. I mean, he was always right, tight with his money. We'd have beer, but we'd always pay for our own beer. We would never be splurging or anything like that. So I run into him one afternoon. I was going to go to the hub for one beer. I only had money for one beer. That's okay. So I have a beer. And I run into this Lauren guy and have a beer. And he bought beer for me, and he bought beer for like about 3 or 4 other guys all night long. And I think he even gave me like $10. I thought, what the hell's wrong with him? Next thing I know, he's taking the high dive off the top of that building.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
He dived off, boom.
That's crazy.
So I thought, yeah, you know what? I mean, that is one of the symptoms of a suicide, is that they're unusually generous. They give all their stuff away.
Yeah.
Yeah, this preacher guy, Patterson, German fella.
Yeah.
He owned a house up here in Norwood, and he had to kick people out. They destroyed it. He sold the house, and he went preaching. He went all over. Went to Germany. He went here when there was a Lutheran, And he had a girlfriend here, Donna. Well, she left and she went with Pat McDougall. You know Pat McDougall. And she left Pat. She's with an ex-Navy guy now. Anyway, he was crying and fucking crying. He'd have a beer and then he'd fall asleep, And you wake him up, he start crying, like actually crying in his beer, right?
Yep.
And then when he laughed real loud, real high pitched. So, what the fuck is wrong with Brian Patterson? Then all of a sudden, poof, I think he committed sideways. Just couldn't fucking take it. One guy said you wouldn't know the truth if you fell over it. He went home and fucking put his head in the oven, fucking killed himself. About an hour later, he was fucking dead.
Jeez.
After I said that to him, he left a note too.
Oh yeah.
Well, I think I'm done. Here, boy. On Seagull, what do you think you're going?
Oh, I love getting pictures of those.
You've been feeding them, haven't you?
No, I haven't.
Well, they're like circling the way.
Somebody throw a rock at them. I want to.
They know it, but they don't know exactly. There was a magpie in there working away, and I'm sure there must be something in there that they like.
Maybe they want to eat Steve. Let's throw them down there and see if they go for it.
Maybe Jonathan Livingston Seagull.
Oh, it was really something when you rode the ferry from Vancouver to Victoria.
I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, the seagulls fly along and you throw them a French fry and they dive after it, get it right out of the air. Oh man, it was just.
They match the speed of the ferry. So
Yep. Yeah, those birds are smart.
You can flip them. So.
They say appetite like a bird, but a bird eats 3 times its weight every day just for all the energy it uses. And then they say bird brain, and they're like smart as humans. Parrots can talk, you know. Yeah, my dad and I love birds. Take a lot of pictures of them.